What's going on, you guys? I don't know why there's a funny looking glare, but I'm back with another video. So I put up a poll about, have the church been doing it wrong? And what I meant by that is the message that the church gives in like every other service. Now, yesterday I attended my boyfriend's mother's funeral, which was at a Catholic church. That's new to me because I never attended a Catholic church. Even though it was a funeral, um, I didn't know what to expect. Like, there's a lot of repeating a prayer. There's a lot of standing, sit down, kneel. You know, they even took communion. It was a nice service. But the message that I always notice that the church gives is a message of forgiveness at a funeral. And that's at any church, Catholic, Baptist. They always speak on forgiveness. And it's like, to me, I know this may be taken the wrong way, or some people might not be feeling what I have to say, and that's fine. This is just how I feel about it. I feel like the message is pretty much creating a safe place for people to feel like no matter what a person did during the time they were alive, and I believe in God rest the dead, but the message, it comes off to me as no matter what a person did when they were alive to hurt others, harm others, damage others, just forgive them. You gotta forgive them because nobody's perfect. And it's like people are looking at everyone to feel their way, even those who haven't healed from the hurt of the deceased. And I don't think that's fair to the victims, you know, who have suffered, pain and abuse from someone who is no longer alive. I don't think it's fair to give up that type of message at a funeral. Now, what I do believe in is that, okay, if you want to give off a message of, forgiveness, start by holding people accountable. And if you share a message of, everyone already gonna use this anyway, nobody's perfect. If you can kind of start it off by saying, none of us is perfect and people make mistakes, however, and speak on the truth of what God is gonna judge us by, maybe people will start to hold themselves accountable. And each one teach one. Like they say, when they leave church, you hear a lot of people say, "Ooh, Pastor gave a good sermon today. Ooh, he really spoke that word today." And it's like it's just anything that satisfies their ears. But God forbid they sit in that church and hear something that makes them feel uncomfortable because, they're guilty of it, whatever their word is. Like, I'd rather feel somewhere where I'd rather sit in a church where I can feel convicted of my sins while I am alive, and I believe in forgiveness. I believe in asking the Lord for forgiveness. I believe in, starting over. But it starts with accountability. It starts with knowing what you have done to hurt someone else. It starts with knowing it, admitting to it, and showing that you are sorry for that. I feel like some people leave this world and they do not change. They will take it to the grave. How they have treated someone, they will, find every excuse. They will not claim it to be something that they did wrong. They live their whole life off emotions and they reacted in a bad way, which hurt other people. I think people just go on through their life living that way. Some of them will actually take it to the grave. They don't care. You know, all of us, we got our day when we gonna leave here. But, you know, all I can say is sometimes the church needs to change the message, especially during these funerals. Because you can't expect a person sitting in a funeral to feel like you need to just forgive and forget because they gone. Ain't nobody perfect. It's like that rubs me the wrong way. Like the person that should have been held accountable in life is the same as in death. And I said it. Yes. You should say that. If anything, I hope that God heals them from what made them that way. And that's where I start to look at forgiveness. Once you can say that and really feel it in your heart, you can start the healing process and moving on and grieving peacefully and not grieving in anger, you know? And it's like once the church starts to spread that type of message, I hope that God heals them from what caused them to be that way, you know? People can pick up on that message and pass it on. Each one teach one. Now go and share this good news with your friends with a good sermon the pastor preached today on forgiveness and how, you know, some people gonna leave this earth, you know, having done some bad things to folks and really hurt people. But, you know, all we could do is just say, Lord, I hope that you heal them from what made them that way, you know. Once you can really say that, I can respect the church more with the message of forgiveness. That's all I really wanted to talk about when it comes to have the church being, you know, getting it wrong. Like, I don't plan on being at the head of nobody's church. I feel like that's a powerful position to hold, and it should not be a self-appointed position. I have said that many times. A lot of people that's at the front of these churches are self-appointed. God did not put them there, and God gonna hold them accountable for getting up there just because somebody in your family said, well, maybe you should be the next one, and they pretty much repeating what they've heard from their grandfathers and fathers. You know, if God didn't put you there, you shouldn't be up there. That should be a God-appointed position, you know, in your life. Not something you just take on upon yourself, you know, because you're going to always just repeat things, and there's no fullness behind it. Like, there's no anointment behind it. Like, I'm not really going to feel it. It's just going to feel fake and rehearsed. Like, that's another thing about the church. Things are just so rehearsed. Like, everything is a copycat of what another service has done. Like, I'm not getting nothing new. I'm not getting fed the word that I need to hear. You know, you're just telling me what I want to hear to keep me comfortable in this life that needs to change. I need to change my ways. I need to know that you're in agreement with that. There's some things you can change and be a better person, and you have time. You can ask God for forgiveness. And if you really mean it in your heart, God gonna give you, you know, it's like he gonna grace you with mercy to start over and do better. We know better, we do better. People really think they fooling God by living a secret life, manipulating other people, abusing other people, and things like that, taking from people. And I don't just mean in a physical way. I'm saying like you take people's life away when you do so much to mess with their mind and control them. And it's like we are running out of time. We don't have time to keep sitting in these same old services, listening to the same old sermon, and the same message is the same thing. And you're not really gaining nothing. Like, I'm still hungry for the word. You're not really feeding me nothing. Feed me something where I can leave out of there full and I'm ready to pass it on. And, you know, people going to feel it. They really going to feel it in their spirit. And it ain't going to always be comfortable, you know. So that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. Again, except the church been getting it wrong. It might sound judgmental, but I don't care. You know, that's just how I feel. And that goes for everybody, myself, everybody. It's just like, you know, if you wasn't sitting here in my face while I was alive, don't do it when I'm dead and be up that line. We was best friends and we wasn't like that. You know, just things like that I think about. Like, let's just keep it real. I ain't saying go in there and just dog the person out, you know, at a funeral. Of course, that'll be inappropriate. But preach a good message of how